Hi, my name is Katie and I'm here today to talk to you about my favourite animal in the whole wide world, bats. Bats are found almost everywhere in the world. The only place on Earth with no bats are the Arctic, the Antarctic and a few oceanic islands. There are an estimated 1,200 species of bat in the world. They come in all shapes and sizes and they are one of the most diverse orders of animals in the whole world, and they're also the second largest. Bats are usually split into two groups: megabats, big bats, and microbats, small bats. Most megabats are fruit eaters and most microbats are insect eaters. As I mentioned before about bats being a really diverse group, there are some species of bat that eat pollen and even drink nectar. There are even some bats that drink blood, such as the vampire bat, which you've probably heard of. There are even some carnivorous bats out there that eat fish and frogs, such as the big-eared woolly bat from Mexico and South America. Bats are so important for so many ecosystems and they provide us with essential eco-services that we could not live without. Bats act as free pest control and they are excellent pollinators, just like the bees. Bats are also the only mammal that can truly fly, so let's have a look at how they do this. Firstly, let's have a look at the anatomy of bats. Within the wing are bones that resemble our own skeletal arm and hand. As you can see here on the diagram that I've made, they have a forearm, a thumb, which they use to grip and climb, and 4 more fingers. The skin on their wings is called wing membrane or patagium. Bats are agile and accomplished flyers, enough to make even the most aerobatic birds jealous. For bats, the principle of flight is the same as all other flying animals. The wing beats, it creates thrust. The wing shape creates lift, which overcome the opposing forces of weight and drag. As we mentioned before, bats are a hugely diverse group of animals, so naturally there will be different wing shapes and sizes throughout the species, which will give individual benefits to each species. For example, those with shorter, wider wings will be more agile and will be able to make quick movements at lower speeds, such as this guy. Bats who have narrower, long wings, like this guy, are more speedy and efficient flyers, which enables them to be able to chase down fast-flying insects out in the open on the wing. Some bats can even hover. Some bats have evolved such incredible flight behaviour where they are able to undertake long migratory flights. Brazilian free-tailed bats can reach altitudes of up to 10,000 feet on these journeys and can reach over 100 miles per hour when the wind is right. In the UK, some of our migratory bats include pipistrelles, nocturals and liesleys. Here is a slow motion video of a rescued Nethusius pipistrelle flying to give you a clear view of how they move their wings to fly. Just to note that this bat is in a flight cage being assessed by licensed bat carers for rehabilitation. If we go back to our anatomy diagram here, we'll take a look at a bat's super feature, their ears. As we mentioned at the beginning about the differences in what the two groups of bats eat, this is a main factor in whether they can echolocate or not. Echolocation is in most part exclusive to microbats. So what is echolocation? It allows bats to see in the dark. When sound waves strike an object, they are bounced back, and this reflected sound is called an echo. We as humans do not hear these echoes often, but for bats and alongside other animals such as dolphins and whales can hear and interpret them. So a flying bat will produce lots and lots of ultrasonic sounds. We mostly can't hear these, but we can use specialised bat detectors to tune in, but we'll talk more about them in a bit. The echoes that the bat hears from bat calls bouncing off of solid objects or surfaces paints a map of their environment in the bat's mind. Bats can then navigate a path around these obstacles and find their prey. Bats work out how far an object is away from them by working out how long it takes for an echo to return. Bats' use of echolocation has led to the popular myth of blind as a bat, but in fact bats are not blind, they actually have really good eyesight. Echolocation just helps them navigate at night as a lot of bats are nocturnal. The sounds bats create usually cannot be heard by human ears. We now have incredible technology called bat detectors, which allows us to tap into bat calls and hear what's going on. Amazingly, different bats have distinct types of call that we can use to tell them apart. Variation in frequency and pattern can indicate which species is calling. Bats also make social calls, but they are harder to work out identification. Here are some different bat calls to show you what I mean. So about to play is a nocturnal call. Notice the frequency of the call and the shape. This one is a common pipistrelle call. Can you hear the difference? This last one is an enthusiast pipistrelle call, and this one is quite difficult to tell apart from the other pips. An interesting occurrence to note is in evolution, bats' ability to echolocate has meant that prey can be found more efficiently, but sometimes prey fights back. For example, some hawk moths have been found to produce an ultrasound all of their own, which confuses bats when they're trying to echolocate. In response to this, some bats have made their calls at a frequency that moths cannot hear, so the moth doesn't know when to activate its jamming signal to avoid attack. This is an example of something which is called an evolutionary arms race. Pressures drive the predator and the prey to keep making extreme adaptations to keep one step ahead of each other. I'm going to end this video by quickly talking to you about one of the most fascinating parts of a bat, their nose. So when echolocating, bats produce pulses of sound through either their mouth or their nose. The species that emit echolocation calls through their noses usually have elaborate facial ornamentation for focusing the sound, and these are called nose leaves. There are so many species who have these facial ornamentations. If you have a look here, the lesser spear-nosed bat, the striped hairy-nosed bat, rounded bat, all have such amazing facial ornamentation. There are so many. There's horseshoe bats whose their noses are shaped as, you get it, horseshoes, leaf-nosed bats, hog-nosed bats, tube-nosed bats, and so many more. The diversity is incredible. Resist not showing you some more of the facial ornamentation of bats across the world. It's so fascinating. I've marked some pages in here of some ones that I thought would be good to see. So here you have the hairy big-eyed bat, his face, Salvin's big-eyed bat, white-lined bat, brown-bellied broad-nosed bat. Over here, so we've got little white-shouldered bat, oh, wrinkle-faced bat, look at him. Wow, visored bat. McConnell's bat. They're just so incredible, the diversity. What we've got here. So flying foxes, which you've probably heard of. So their faces look like foxes. They're really cute colour. These ones are massive, these bats. Absolutely huge. This is a little red flying fox. Here got spotted winged fruit bat. Look at that nose. Temminck's tailless fruit bat. Wow. Oh, this guy's cute. Horsfield's fruit bat. The last page that I've noted on here is the horseshoe bats. So here we've got Mediterranean horseshoe bats. You can see there his facial ornamentation looks like a horseshoe. His nose. Got Ruppel's horseshoe bat. Look at him. Hildebrandt's horseshoe bat. And I think there was some also got greater horseshoe bat and lesser horseshoe bat. Here you can see his nose quite clearly in this one. So there's so much diversity in the shapes and sizes in bats across the world, and it's absolutely magical. to see them all. Here we go, lesser long-tailed bats, lovely tongue. And here are two of my favourite exotic bats. This is the northern ghost bat. I think he's really cute and they're so tiny. And then here we have the painted bat. Absolutely beautiful, the colours. So today I've spoken to you about bats in general from all over the world. In my next video I'll be talking about the life cycle of bats, hibernation in bats and the bats that we have right here in the UK. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, learned lots and can join me in loving bats. See you next time. Bat Lady over and out.